Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you to all the new subscribers and for all the likes. I really appreciate it. I've been working on these new papers that I have listed in Etsy, and here's the journal card I made last night. I quite like it. It has this wallpaper background and eyelets, old antique lace and all kinds of beautiful details, cheesecloth and lace, this label with one of my snippets, and there's one of these stamping machine numbers, and Maki stamp, this gorgeous balloon, Luftballon, and seam binding. I have dyed this with distress ink there, but that's not my main thing today. I'm also working on this ring-bound journal, which has these huge rings, and I'm going to add some more bulkiness to it, and I'm going to show you how to add pages on this kind of journal that has these large rings. I want it to be really a large tome. I have already some of these hard pages which I have secured with metal eyelets, and now how to add some normal pages in between. And I just had a eureka moment, and I will show you what I have in mind. If you have followed me for a longer time, you have seen how I made these papers. They were white and I dyed them, and I can link the videos where I make this. It's a very long tutorial series, and I'm going to use some pieces of these, and then I have this tea and coffee dyed watercolor paper, which is really thick, and I'm using both of these to add the papers. I think I'm going to use this size, so it's a little bit smaller than the front cover, shorter, and then I will need a larger piece for a sturdy background so that you can write on the papers that you're attaching, and then I'm going to maybe cut here so that I will get a fold where I can tuck the papers in. I will show you what I mean. And also I'm using these and making about the same measures, cutting them using this as a guide. It's not so exact. I just want them to be a little bit smaller than the front here. So I will cut this and come back very soon. There. Let's see which images we're going to use. Maybe that ink blot would be a nice addition. I will put this aside. Oh, there's a little bit of some cuts over there. I will cut some part of it off, but let's see which part. Now I need my scoring board. So it was like this. This is the long side, and let's double check the other measurements. I'm going to it's good that I checked it, because it will have to reach both of these rings, so I will change my plans and cut that off, this strip, and I'm going to make this a smaller one. Let me think about it a little bit. Yes, now I got it. I will show you as I make it. Now I'm cutting the excess off, and then I will round the corners. And the other one too. Let's round the corners. Let's make this one first. We will need quite a lot of space for the rings and the reinforcements. This is 5 1/4, so it's 1/8, 5 1/8, so it's 2 1/2, and then no, let me check it again. I usually use centimeters, so this is a bit tricky for me. 5 1/4, so it's 2 1/2. So you can see it. I will turn this. You can count with me. 5 inches and 1/4, right? So it's 2 1/2 and 1/8. Let's see if it goes well like this. Good enough. Now we have space for the rings and space for the papers to tuck in here. Let's ink the edges. The spine too. Then it's time to measure the place where the holes come. Let's take this front cover as a guide. First I'm marking the place where the metal eyelets are. It's about here and about here. I can wipe them off later. Then let's punch a preliminary hole here. Now that well, it doesn't matter. Yes, it's exactly like the original. It has more space here than on the bottom, so it's the same in here. The important thing is to have these holes in the right place. Then a crocodile. Punch through. Double check. And then I have these very large eyelets. They are really heavy and they are black and shiny, and I don't like that, so I'm going to use a sandpaper. And just rub so that the surface wears off. And it looks old and worn. As you see, it's black and shiny. Not anymore. That's pretty. And then I'm going to attach them. There. I attached one on this side, from this side, and one from the other side, so that both sides have one which is more beautiful than the other. And I might later on add a staple or two to secure it, but I still need that room for working, so let's leave it like this for now. And it will go in there. Now I'm going to find some old papers for it so that it really will be a junk journal. There. Some poems with gilded edges. This gorgeous old camera. Old paper. Book pages. Leonardo's library. Avocado dyed. Old font, scripture and place for writing. This is from a paper pad. It has patterns both sides. It's new but it looks old. Then one of my pieces of ephemera that I have made earlier. This is my printable, and this, I think I'm trying to fit this in. We'll see if that works. Another book page or two. This from a dictionary. This is printable from Graphics Fairy, I think, which I have coffee dyed. Then another book page that I have added a paper ruffle embellishment. on, and this piece that I've added, then some antique French ledger paper. This is like a receipt page torn. We will see how much of that I can use. Then another piece of book pages and a gorgeous old map. It's a reproduction and it's shiny. We'll see what we can do with this. Maybe fold it once and glue it, or sew it together. We shall see. A little bit too shiny. That's why I think I'm not going to let this side show. Okay, I will arrange these. While I was cutting this gorgeous map of Great Britain, I took this snippet and saved it. As I always do, I save all the interesting bits for later use. There's the background, and one of these ledger pages are just about the right size. I'm going to glue them on and sew them and cut this excess off. Or maybe not, I could use it as a tuck spot. Let's see how it works. There. I tore the edges and inked them, and I think I'm going to leave it like this. It doesn't need any more stitching or sewing because there's a lot going on this side. So there's that. I'm probably using this as a front for this, and I might need to leave it as a pocket. Just tighten these sides a little bit so that there will be this signature that you can take off. Yes, I think it's a good idea because it's so deep, and if I add those staples here, it will be so well fitted that it keeps this inside. That's one idea. We'll see where we are going to end. Now, to add more papers, I'm trying to put a large page and then small one, a larger one, smaller one, and so on. And that one, then the dictionary page, this one, and I'm going to cut this a little bit to fit inside these lines, inside this front. About here. And this was too long. It will not fit between these eyelets, but it might still fit inside. It doesn't have to go in here. let's think about it still. If it works, I can use it. And this one. That's not necessary. This one is from the same book. Then this old piece. There's like a photograph of a couple and this camera and an old rocking chair. There. And what else? Maybe not, let's not put too much in. There's already quite a lot. We might not need this right this moment. We can save it for later. Then we will need to embellish this. Let's try it on. It was this way. I think it looks good. Let's try it. Like really put it into these rings. And let's close this and see what it looks like. Quite good. It's starting to get bulky. There's still a lot of room, and I like these huge things. I might add something. I have something in mind. I will reveal it later. You can add so much here because there's room, and you can turn them like this so they are not sticking out when you're not using it. But when you use it, you turn them like this, and then it's quite easy to use the book, the journal. And as you have the writing pages here, you can take it off and write, and then put it to again here once again. Now let's think about how to sew this in or attach these pages together. Maybe just poke 2 holes and sew them with a thread. That might be the best way for this signature. Yes, I will do that. There's the thread and some beeswax. I'm running through the wax so that it will not tangle so easily. And this needle with the dull head. I already poked 2 holes in there. Let's see if they are still, yes, they are still on the right place, but I didn't move these other papers while looking for the thread and the needle. let's see now, where is it? The other one. Yes, it's over there and there. Just a simple knot here. Nothing fancy, because it's a junk journal. It will look beautiful, but it's junk journal. It's art junk journal, I like to say. Call it that way because it needs a lot of creative work. But it's made with recycled material. No shame in the junk part of it. And now there are some pages that were loose, and those I'm going to glue on. Let's check it out. That's pretty, that ruffle. It shows behind that front. I like it. That's loose, and it says childhood poem or poetry, and it fits very well because this, my original idea was that this journal is about a young boy in his childhood and growing up, and what he will do in his life. So that childhood poetry page is quite the right choice. It needs to have a larger background to fit in, and there is exactly this strip that reinforces the page, so I can glue this on there. A little bit of glue, and then we have this page. I will wipe off the excess. I broke this bottle. It has a larger nozzle that it used to have. I'm looking for a larger bottle with this very small nozzle. I like them, but this is so small I have to be refilling it all the time. There's that one. It's a little bit smudged. I might add a snippet in there to hide that a little bit. Let's get my snippet box. Where is it? There. Take this because there are those roosters that look like a little bit like those school book roosters. I don't know how they are called in English, but that might do. Or this one, it looks like an adventure on an air balloon. I'm using this one. Just to hide the ink a little bit. Then I might add more embellishments later. There's that really ugly part. There's also a compass here, so an adventure air balloon would fit in nicely. but still it needs something underneath. Found this piece of music, sheet music. Let's put that underneath and then that one, but maybe this way. Something like that. With or without? What does it look? Maybe halfway here. That's okay. Let's align these red lines with some of the text lines, so it looks more, or some of the note lines here, so it looks more balanced. For example, like this. Yes. See what I mean? The lines come from here and they go over there. Continuity. That's the word. That's loose. Let's add some glue. Maybe I could take it off completely, and let's see a better place for it. It's this one. Yes. Sometimes you have to move the pages a little bit to find the right place for everything. That's it. Because it's already reinforced.